The roster for the Florida Gators orange and blue spring game has been revealed. The coaching staff stands out to me a bit.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Friday. Happy day before the spring game. Florida Gators football. We get to see it on TV or in person tomorrow. I love it. I am Brandon Olsen, and I wanted to talk about the coaching staff before we talk about the rosters themselves, because the rosters came out. We will talk about those for the rest of the shows, but the coaching staff stood out to me a bit because it looks like the offensive coordinators will be Rob Sale for the orange team and Russ Callaway for the blue team. Defensive coordinators are going to be Austin Armstrong for the orange team and Ron Roberts for the blue team. So basically, the guys who were listed as coordinators last season are on the orange team, and the guys who are new to the coordinator spots are on the blue team. But the thing that really popped out to me, or that really interested me with that, is Russ Callaway's placement, because Graham Mertz is on the blue team, DJ Lagway is on the orange team. So personally, I wanted to see Russ Callaway with DJ Lagway, mostly just because how fun would that be? Having the air raid guy with the dude that has a bazooka attached to his torso. I thought that'd be a lot of fun, just because, again, it seems like, and also we'll talk more about the roster makeup of the orange side is fun. It is really fun. So I was kind of hoping to see Russ with that group. However, that's not even the most intriguing part about it, for me at least. The most intriguing part about it for me is that Russ Callaway is on the team that has Graham Mertz. Now, Billy Napier's not on the list, which is why I'm saying OC is Rob Sale for orange team and OC for blue team is Russ Callaway, because they were the top of the offensive staff list, which I am curious to see if Rob Sale is going to call plays or if Russ Callaway will. I know that last year we were kind of watching it, and a lot of it was just Billy Napier behind whoever was on offense, and he was just telling them the plays. But this time, now you have an actual offensive play caller that's not Billy Napier, and you have two defensive play callers. So I'm very interested to see what that's going to look like. But pairing Russ Callaway with Graham Mertz, and this could be me just looking into it a little bit too much, but having Russ Callaway, who we don't know who's going to call plays during the season, with Graham Mertz, maybe this is that bit of a tryout that we've been looking for, or that tryout that is available of, all right, Russ, we're giving you Graham Mertz, we're giving you the starting offense, you're going up against the starting defense. Let's see what you can do. Like if we're going to even entertain the idea of calling plays, let's see what you can do. Because personally, I do think that you have to take what Russ Callaway did at Samford. You crumple it into a ball and you throw it as far away as possible, because it's just not super relevant, right? What he did at Samford was very air raid style. They were built for that. They've been built for that. They did it after he left too. It's what Samford likes to do. It's their style. So they had the personnel for that. And we keep saying, oh, like, that's what Russ Callaway wants to do. We don't know that for sure. He's thought of as an air-rated guy, sure. So maybe he wants to test downfield. We'll see what it really is. But now that he's got Graham, he's got the running backs, he's got all the starters on offense, what are you going to do on the field? What is this going to look like? This is your opportunity. You can't go back and watch Samford from 2019 and go, oh my goodness, this Russ Callaway, what a great offensive coordinator. Let's make him our play caller based off of that. Just going to be completely honest with you. You can't do it based off that. Because guess what? If he was so awesome there, he would have had more coordinator jobs at higher levels pan out for him, right? It didn't happen. I'm not saying he was bad at all. I'm just saying we can't look at the numbers there and go, oh, it's sick. No. Give him this opportunity here and say, hey, Russ, you have the starters. Like, there's nothing holding you back. Because if you give him DJ and you give him the backups and the offense looks terrible, he could easily just, what do you want me to do? It's the backups. Now you got starters versus starters. Good on good is what Billy Napier's coaching staff likes to call it. You got good on good. And I cannot wait to see what Russ Callaway brings to the table, especially because he's going up against Austin Armstrong. I truly think that the way these coaching staffs were put together were, let's give Russ Callaway a run at things, calling the plays. He's got Ron Roberts on the defensive side calling plays for him, but he's going up against Austin Armstrong. He's going up against our starting defensive coordinator. Let's give him everything. Like, let's create the most game-like feeling for him. We got the running clock. We got 15-minute quarters. That's how Florida does the spring game here. 15-minute halftime. Like, they run it very, very effectively there. And so I do think that this is kind of that dress rehearsal for Russ Callaway, where they're giving him, hey, you're going up against an SEC defensive coordinator. No matter how you feel about him, Austin Armstrong, SEC defensive coordinator, SEC starting defense. You have as your offensive play caller. You have an SEC starting offense that was really good last year, number-wise. You had an SEC offense there. What are you going to do in this situation? And personally, again, I'm a little disappointed to not see Russ Callaway with DJ Lagway, but that's me being selfish. I just wanted to see that pairing and watch DJ Lagway sling that thing over their mountains. You know, I just wanted to see him do that. However, from a team building standpoint, from a what are we going to do this season standpoint, I love how they set this up. Because this is true, like Russ Callaway. It's not Russ Callaway against Ron Roberts here, where I love Ron Roberts. Everyone knows that. But against Ron Roberts, you can go, oh, like, well, it's not Ron's defense. He just got here a couple months ago. No, you're going up against a guy that's been here for over a year. This is his second spring game as a defensive play caller, because Russ Callaway has been here too, just not in this position. But now you're going up against Austin Armstrong. Like, you're going up against the established guy here, who, by the way, Austin Armstrong last year in the spring game bullied the offense the entire day. Very, very interesting to see this. And I love how they set it up, because if you're going to give Russ a dress rehearsal at any point, it's now. Like, this is the time to figure it out if you're going to give him an opportunity. If he does a great job and the blue offense lights it up, then you have a conversation about, is he going to be our play caller? But if they stink it up, then you have a different conversation of, well, maybe, but the showing we gave you was not a good showing. And you have to consider that, and you have to admit that. And so I'm very interested to see what it's going to look like. I do love how they set it up. But now we're going to get to the rosters in just a second. We're going to start with the blue roster. But first, a quick word from eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships. And it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply, and eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Also, next week, if you're an NFL fan, during the NFL draft, we're going to be having these clips coming out all over the NFL channel. So whatever your favorite team is, go follow them. Wherever a Florida Gator like Ricky Pearsall gets drafted, go check out that channel. We'll have videos there going up. I will be on the back end, so I won't be on camera, but just know I will have a hand in every part of it. It's going to be fun. But we're going to look at the blue roster first. The blue roster is mostly the starting offense. There's mostly the backup defense. And I got to say, based on the roster that we saw, I'm going to say the starting three receivers will be Trey Wilson, Khalil Jackson, and Chimere Dike. I'm happy with that. I am. We'll probably do the subtext group, which join subtext.com/LockedOnGators. We're going to be doing a bunch of spring game breakdowns following the game. We might go back and look at Chimere Dike, Joey Slackman, and a couple of the other transfers and look back at their game film from last year and get some reports in there for summer scouting, essentially. But Chimere Dike is someone that I'm excited to see. Like, I want to see what he looks like with Graham Mertz in this game situation now. Because we know that when Graham Mertz and Chimere Dike were both at Wisconsin, that they had good chemistry. That Graham Mertz trusted Chimere, that he liked throwing to him, that he got to him consistently. And so we liked that connection that they had. And it was fun. It was cool. But Graham Mertz at Wisconsin was considerably worse than Graham Mertz at Florida. Like I've said before, like I don't know if I think Graham Mertz is a top 20 quarterback in the country right now. Okay? I don't know that. However, I know that he is miles better than he was when he was in Madison, Wisconsin. Okay? He has taken strides as a quarterback and as a just pure passer. So he's taking strides there. I'm very interested to see what he and Chimere Dike look like now, if they're just going to get right back on the same page or if it's going to take a little bit, whatever it may be. But I'm excited to watch that. Also, they didn't have weapons around them like they do now. Like at Wisconsin, they didn't have these kinds of weapons. They had great tight ends, and that was it, and running backs. But even then, they weren't really pass catching. But they didn't have a Trey Wilson. Like they didn't have Trey Wilson to take attention. They didn't have even a Khalil Jackson. And I think most people know I'm not super high on Khalil Jackson, but they didn't even have a receiver his quality, really. So to see Trey Wilson, Khalil Jackson, and Chimere Dike kind of all together, I'm really excited to watch that during the spring game, especially because they're going up against the starting defense of the Florida Gators. Defensively is going to be really interesting to watch. For me, the back seven specifically is what pops out. Just because the blue defense, it's hard to evaluate what their trench play is going to be like up front. Like, I think that we're going to see the blue defense look really good defensively or really good in the trenches because they're going up against the Florida Gators backup offensive line, and the Florida Gators starting offensive line isn't awesome either. So the backup's not going to be great. So I do think that we're going to see the Florida Gators or the blue team defense look really good as far as generating a pass rush goes. And it is one of the reasons I think the blue team will win, even though that's not super important. But just based on blue team has a starting offense against a backup or against the starting defense, but great starting offense going up against orange offense, which has a ton of fun players on it, but backup offensive line is really hard to win with there. But also, there's talent at receiver for the orange team. That means the blue defenders are going to get a bit of a test. And so I think we're going to see the blue team starters defensively be on the defensive line. George Gums, the transfer, is going to be at Jack. You're going to see Joey Slackman and Desmond Watson on the inside with Cameron James at the F. And it is notable, Joey Slackman is rolling with the backup defense here. I know every year they usually pluck a couple of starters and put them with the other side. I don't think that's really the case here. I think they want to see Cam Jackson with Caleb Banks and Joey Slackman with Desmond Watson. at least for the time being. Maybe I was just wrong on my evaluation of Joey Slackman, thinking he's better than Caleb Banks. I still do, and until I'm proven wrong, then I'm going to stay with that. Maybe they just want juice off the rotation. Maybe they just think Caleb Banks is better, whatever it may be. But I'm very interested to see how Joey Slackman's going to perform here. At linebacker, I think the main three you'll see are going to be Miles Graham, Manny Nunnery, and Jaden Robinson. Probably going to see a good bit of them. I know that Miles Graham right now, a lot of people are excited to see him. I'm also very excited to see him. Curious to see what he's going to look like in this, because this is going from high school to college, which is a big difference. So I'm curious to see how he looks, just situationally awareness. Like, does he know where he's got to be? And is he going to get there quickly? So there's that. Linebackers are going to be something to be exciting for. I want to see who out of that group, Miles Graham, Manny Nunnery, and Jaden Robinson, who I think will be the main three, who's going to be communicating the calls properly and who's going to be making sure everything's running on schedule defensively. It's going to be an interesting thing there, because if there's an injury to whoever's doing that on the starters, you have to be able to do that then in turn. The secondary, based on who we have, Jakeem Jackson and Dijon Johnson almost definitely starting on the outside. Then I think you're going to have Aaron Gates at star. Right now, star looks like it's going to be Aaron Gates or Sharif Denson, which really means Aaron Gates and Sharif Denson. It's just a matter of who's starting, who's rotating in. But Jakeem Jackson, Dijon Johnson, Aaron Gates so far up close to the line of scrimmage. And at safety, Bryce Thornton and DJ Douglas, I believe, are going to be the duo that we see there. Because again, we're not getting a depth chart here. We're getting the rosters, and we kind of have to try to piece things together as far as what the actual depth chart looks like. So I do think that we're going to see that combo of defense as the primary guys rotating in and out. Other notable names that are on the blue team defense that obviously blue team offense. You got Graham Mertz, Montrell, Trayon Webber both in there. Chimere Dike, Trey Wilson, Jere Hawkins is on that side as well. Khalil Jackson, tight ends, Arliss, Hayden, Keon are all there. The offensive line starters. But like defensively, I really want to see if we see Greg Smith at all, the true freshman safety that was a quarterback and did everything in high school and is now going to be a Florida Gator. And I'm very excited to watch him play. Deuce Spurlock is playing on both sides, linebacker that transferred in from Michigan. Clay Millen, quarterback, is going to be playing on both sides, which I expect. I think on an orange team, we'll see like 2 reps or 2 drives of DJ Lagway, and then we'll get another drive of Clay Millen or some kind of rotation like that. That's how they've done it before. I'd expect to see that. I want to see if we see DeAndre Robinson or Mekhi Boyroe, just because, like, I want to just one time, just one singular play. I don't care. Let me see Mekhi Boyroe, DeAndre Robinson, and Desmond Watson all on the field at once. Just put a whole bunch of big dudes out there and just watch what happens. I was surprised the edge group here is George Gums, Quincy Ivory, Cameron James, Tyreek Norwood, who's playing on both sides, Brandon Taylor, Bryce Capers, and Lane Swafford. And I was a little bit surprised. I thought we would see either Tyreek Sapp or Justice Boone with that edge group on the blue team, just to get them rotating in there, but that's not the case apparently. We are about to flip to the orange side, which is a fun side to talk about. But first, a quick word from Game Time. I don't know if you know this. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which means getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer to the first pitch, which is like wild to me, but goes down. I like it because I feel like normally you're like, oh, like we're getting closer, so the power goes into the hands of the seller because they have something we want and we're running on a deadline. But it's also, well, they're trying to offload something. They should be dropping their price. So I like how that works with Game Time. It's fun. Killer last minute deals, like the all-in prices for me are what really makes it, because I can't stand when I'm looking for tickets for anything, concert, any baseball game, football game, whatever maybe. And I'm like, okay, like what, $100, whatever. great. And then I click to buy it, and it's like, actually, it's 180, dummy. And now I'm stuck paying almost double the price per ticket, and I hate it so much. But with Game Time, you just activate all in pricing. You see the price there, and it's like, yeah, maybe you're still paying $100 or $180, but you know that, like you know what's coming. It's nothing that happens after you decide you want to do it. No, it's just like whatever you see is what you're paying. So if you're going to be paying for whatever price you may be paying, or whatever price is in your budget, at least make it something that you know. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time app. Lowest last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. And the Orange team, mostly starting defense with mostly backup offense. Very, very excited to watch what the secondary is going to do against the starting receivers, because this Florida Gators really do have one of the probably better receiving trios in the SEC right now. And I mean, if you just look at receiver room, they've got a lot of depth. It's just a matter of figuring out who's actually going to take the next step. But at corner or in the secondary, we'll say Jason Marshall, Devin Moore, chalk that. That's your starting outside guys. Sharif Denton, chalk it as your starting star here for the Orange team. Safety, Jordan Castell and Asa Turner, probably going to get a lot of run there. And so that's secondary against the starting pass catchers of Chimere Dike, Khalil Jackson, Trey Wilson, Arlos Boardingham, Hayden Hansen. Like that secondary against that group is going to be fun to watch. Like it's genuinely just going to be really fun to watch. I think, at least that's how I'm looking at it. Like that's just the way that I'm going to shape things and how I view them. Now, watching the Orange team offense is going to be rough. Because looking at the defensive line, you've got Cam Jackson, Jamari Lyons, Kelby Collins, Caleb Banks, all starting, all not starting, but all listed on the interior. Those are 4 guys that are actually going to play when we come time for the season. On the edge, you got LJ McCray, Tyreek Sapp, TJ Searcy, Justice Boone, all 4 guys that I think are going to actually play. You've got more in both of those groups, but the 4 that I think are going to play. Inside linebackers, Pup Howard, RJ Moten, Derek Wingo, Deuce Spurlock, Shamar Jones are all there. And then safeties, Jordan Castell, Asa Turner, Trickleys. Bridges is also in there. Corners, Teddy Foster, Jameer Grimsley, Javian Toombs are also all in there, which Javian Toombs is forever going to be one of the coolest stories. He was on the show, I think it was after the Las Vegas Bowl, right after the Las Vegas Bowl, or maybe right before the Las Vegas Bowl, after the 2022 season. And he was on the show. He was a linebacker in high school that moved to safety and then moved to corner. And it's like, that's so not how these things go usually, of going from linebacker to safety to corner. Usually you're a corner in high school, but too slow. You got to move into safety. Too slow. Got to move into linebacker. And it's just wild. So Javian Toombs is always going to be a really fun story. And if I'm not mistaken, he makes music, if I'm not mistaken. I remember it was Hayden Hansen mentioned that on one of the shows that we had him on as well. But the Florida Gators, the Orange team offense, it's going to be rough to watch again because the offensive line is not going to be great. But when you look at just everything else, it can be a lot of fun. Quarterback, DJ Lagway. Everyone wants to see DJ Lagway play, right? He's Gainesville's sweetheart at this point. So everyone wants to see DJ Lagway, myself included. I just want to see him sling it. That's it. I honestly don't even care. Just let him chuck it. That's all I want to see. Running back, KD Daniels and Jaden Ball are going to be the guys that I expect to see the most run from. I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited to see if they pass to them at all. We know that they can both make guys miss. Jaden Ball can run through dudes at times. Jaden Ball's a massive guy. Receivers, Andy Jean, Marcus Burke, Aiden Mizell. And let me tell you, if I don't get to see, I just want to see one time. It's all I want to see. If I don't get to see DJ Lagway throw a deep ball to Aiden Mizell I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I just want to see, even if it's at the end of the scrimmage, if they're just like Napier could just be like, hey guys, no pass rush right here. Do it. I just want to see it one time. I just want to see DJ Lagway throw a ball 55 to 60 yards to Aiden Mizell and watch, one, if any of the DBs are close to him at that point when you're that far downfield, and two, it's just how beautiful that's going to look. That's all I want to see. Just like, give me that, and I don't care what happens the rest of it. That's where I'm at. Just let me see that, and that's all I care about. Tight end, Tony Livingston, Scott Isaacs, I think, are going to be the main guys that we see. Gavin Hill's also going to be in there. The main reason I'm not putting Gavin Hill as a guy that I think is going to start is just he just moved to tight end like a month or two ago. Not like you've had a ton of time to learn how to play. Scott Isaacs used to play receiver in high school, played special teams last year, got in, I want to say 2 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2 games that he got in on offense, but again, contributed on special teams last year. Almost blocked a punt against Arkansas. Yeah, it was Arkansas because it was a game that I was at, which Arkansas was the only one I made it out for. So yeah, Scott Isaacs played in 2 games on offense last year as McNeese and Charlotte. Played a total of 11 snaps. Excited to see what he does now. Also, 6'4", 250 is a decent size, right? On the offensive line, at tackle, I'm expecting to see Fletcher Westphal and Caden Jones as the main offensive tackles, or the starting offensive tackles, whatever you want to call them. Wouldn't shock me at all if we also saw like Mark Pitts out there. Mark Pitts rotated in twice. I don't remember what the second game was, but it was McNeese was the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So Mark Pitts, who's playing on both sides, maybe he rotates in at some point, but I would expect Fletcher Westphal and Kenny Jones to be the starters. My guess at guard, Bryce Lovett and maybe Riley Simons is who I was thinking would be the other starter there. There's not a ton of bodies there right now, especially when you look at the line available. There's 10 guys, and yeah, at guard, I would think Bryce Lovett and Riley Simons, which Bryce Lovett could be a good showing. Like Bryce Lovett, again, I understand he's with the backup offensive lineman, but like he's still going to be going up against Desmond Watson, Joey Slackman. If you have any matchup with those, or even like Cam James, if you get lined up with him, whoever it may be, there's still plenty of film that could be put out there. So if Bryce Lovett can impress against those guys, then we're talking. And at center, Rod Kearney. Rod Kearney is someone that I thought would be put on both teams, but I guess not, which it's also hard to do on the offensive line. I get it. A lot of impact there, and even for one side. So you don't want to double it by flipping sides for a starter. So I get it. But Rod Kearney is going to be starting at center, would be my guess. It's going to be fun. Don't forget that tomorrow after the game, we will be going live on Locked On Gators. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my great work with Giants, Country, and NFL 33, and I will see you all next time.